This bustling subcontinent is heading toward acute water scarcity, resulting from an ever-increasing gap between supply and demand of fresh water. India has only 4% of the world's freshwater resources for its nearly 1.4 billion people, roughly 18% of the world's population. The demand for water is subject to three driving forces: rapid increase in population, improvement in quality of life, and climate change that has led to an increase in extreme events, both in frequency and magnitude. The average domestic water demand is estimated to increase from 85 liters per capita per day in 2000 to 125 liters per capita per day in 2050 and 170 by 2050. India's total water demand is on course to increase by 22% by 2025 and 32% by 2050. India has the largest agricultural network in the world and is simultaneously the largest user of water for agriculture. 70% of total freshwater abstraction is used for agriculture. Industry accounts for 22%, and the remaining 8% is used for households. Projections show an estimated annual precipitation increase of 4 to 5% by 2030 and 6 to 14% by 2080. It is also accompanied by an average temperature increase of around 2 degrees by 2030 and around 4 degrees by 2080. This is also accompanied by an increase in the frequency of extreme precipitation days, especially during the summer monsoons. It is also projected that the 9 river basins, encompassing 75% of the total population, will be water scarce with severely overexploited groundwater resources by 2050. With all these challenges ahead, what are ways that crisis can be avoided? And where within the country are people already experiencing these consequences? Located on the southeastern coast of India, Chennai is India's 6th largest city, approaching nearly 10 million people. Named the Detroit of India due to the presence of major automobile manufacturing and allied industries around the city. Historically, 3 rivers flowed through Chennai into the Bay of Bengal: the Kahun, the Adyar, and the Kosta-Alayar. These rivers have been killed by population and untreated sewer contaminating it over decades, becoming gutters for stormwater trash and contaminants. Though the government has invested heavily in stream restoration projects, it has all been to avail. With these rivers compromised, North Chennai gets its water from reservoirs in the Tamarapakam and the Minjur distillation plant. South Chennai gets its water from the Viranam Lake and the Neemili seawater distillation plant. The main reservoirs are fed by the annual monsoons that provide 60 to 80% of Chennai's annual rainfall, averaging around 140 centimeters per year. In 2018, however, the city only received 32 centimeters of rainfall. But even with this low rainfall that compares to London's annual rainfall, what factors have caused Chennai to enter a historic water crisis from this rapid onset of drought? In 2010, Chennai's water supply was around 250 million liters per day. At that time, water demand was around 600 million liters per day, and the industrial sector demanded around 150 million liters per day. With Chennai's public water supply relying heavily on monsoon-fed reservoirs, the industrial sector quoted this source of water as being expensive and unreliable. Chennai's farmers and businesses have turned to groundwater as their main source. Groundwater has supported nearly 50% of the city's water demand. Natural groundwater replenishment has been hindered by construction of massive amounts of impervious pavement due to the city's expansion, overall poor management, and unforgiving local topography. Intense development around Chennai's reservoirs, specifically Chembarambakam Lake, has caused a disruption in the lake's natural catchment zone. The large economic and industrial zone uphill from the lake that specializes in automotives uses a large amount of rain and groundwater for cooling machinery, washing vehicles, and mixing with paint. This intense development has also removed much of the natural surrounding wetlands. These combined factors have disrupted the natural groundwater flow that would keep the lake at steady levels during drought. As a result, the city has suffered major consequences. The drought from 2018 to 2019 has caused Chembarambakam Lake to completely dry up, forcing water restrictions throughout the city. Businesses, restaurants, and hotels have been prompted to shut as well as many factories. This has caused massive unemployment. The government has been sending thousands of water tankers each week that are met with extremely long lines. A special train has been commissioned to bring in 2.5 million liters of water from a dam 250 kilometers away. Many residents have turned to bottled water for daily needs, spending upwards of thousands of rupees per month. This is only a luxury the middle and upper class can afford, unfortunately. Much of the city's residents have left to go stay with relatives to wait out these shortages as well. Solutions are in the works, however. Chennai is already planning to enlarge their existing reservoirs. This has been posed as the most economical solution in the short term and is overall accepted amongst stakeholders and the general public. Long-term plans to install infiltration ponds and stormwater retaining infrastructure to increase groundwater recharge have also been proposed. Chennai has, on the other hand, become the first city in India to mandate rooftop rainwater harvesting for all existing and new residential and commercial establishments. The city has also set up 3 desalination plants of 100 million liters per day each within the past 10 years. Unfortunately, further extensions of water supply such as this have encouraged business as usual practices and assured planners that continued growth and expansion are still acceptable, putting an even greater stress on the fragile water supply. Though desalination presents a costly solution, the path to water security for Chennai has many barriers, and only time will tell how current measures will mitigate the next drought.